Okay, so we're Blue Magnolia Films, and we are a Jackson-based production company, and we're here working on a documentary about Mississippi Freedom Houses. And Mississippi Freedom Houses were used during Freedom Summer both to host volunteers who came down, as well as to host voter registration activities and such, and a lot of civil rights activities. But we're basically here to see the unveiling of the marker, the MFDP activity, and to celebrate the local heroes who came as delegates, 68 delegates from Mississippi up to Atlantic City in '64, and bring more attention to unsung heroes of the Mississippi Civil Rights Movement.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm Chandler Griffin with Blue Magnolia Films, and I'm the more camera person for the production company. But yeah, we're just here to document more of Mississippi's history outside of the state, and it's just been a really amazing day watching and learning, and just recording so that people back in Mississippi can understand what actually happened up here.
Thank you. I've never been to Mississippi. Spoiler alert, I don't plan to go, but what was your motivation for wanting to capture or document and film the events and the people around Freedom Summer? And am I saying it right, the Freedom Houses or Safe Houses?
Yeah, they were called Freedom Houses. And the motivation is really just to celebrate and honor the people that are veterans of the movement, and also their descendants who are now on their own journeys to restore these freedom homes. And so the purpose is really to bring more visibility to their walk and to the efforts that they're making to restore these homes, and start to look at the value of these historic structures and what people can do to work collaboratively across the state, because it's going to take many types of forms of support and partners to get together and recognize the network of Freedom Houses as an asset in that state and a very important aspect of the movement, and get that support to the descendants and people that are working to preserve those homes.
Okay, I'm going to ask a very stupid question, only because I'm going to assume that some people who are watching this may not even understand what a Freedom House is. What was the purpose of a Freedom House?
Well, this is a question that only people who lived through it and were there can really answer. But something generally that we've been hearing, and what we've heard from some of the veterans, is that the Freedom Houses were safe houses, of course. There were places that people could lay their heads, they could be fed, have a good meal, whether they were activists, whether they were summer volunteers who were down in Mississippi, one of almost 1,000, mainly white college kids and volunteers who came down to help with registration and support their efforts locally. But essentially they were locals who opened up their homes very bravely to house and feed and support every aspect of the movement, and they were used, to live and to eat and to organize day in and day out. And many of them were firebombed, they were threatened, they were under constant threat, but they served as a network to house and to keep those, keep everyone, with base camps, to work from.
Now, Chandler, you are a native of Mississippi. I have two questions. First question is, what have you learned since you started working on this documentary?
Great question. What have I learned? I mean, I think I've learned. I think I've been reminded of the resiliency of Mississippians, especially Mississippians during Freedom Summer and leading up to Freedom Summer, and really the resiliency of citizens and what they stood up for and what they the strength that they had to hold these spaces for so many people who came down to help. And like what Allison was saying, I think what's important is that, you know, when Freedom Summer ended, these people didn't send their freedom houses back up to, you know, New England or wherever the volunteers came from. Those houses stayed here and the people stayed here. And so I think that's what's important to note, is that those people stayed, those people had to continue living their lives in the communities that they came from. And that was really, well, oftentimes a really hard thing to do. And so I think that's a big part of what we're doing, is trying to find those people and honor those people and honor those stories.
How would you describe the state of civil rights in Mississippi today?
I mean, we have, you know, as far as civil rights in Mississippi, we still have, you know, a long way to go. We're still, there's still many struggles that we're dealing with, and I think this story is another way to highlight a lot of the things that we went through in the past, and things that are still happening today. And there's still a lot of work to be done, and there's still a lot of struggle, a lot of inequity, and I think that's it's important to acknowledge that you know, there's an immense amount of work left to do in Mississippi.
Next to last question. What message or messages do you want people to get from your film?
To get from the film? We'd like to, I mean, I think we really want people to be curious and to educate themselves more, and to delve further into research, into looking into some of the people who have been part of the civil rights struggle, mainly, you know, those from Mississippi that these houses are representing, but also a lot of the formerly unsung heroes of the civil rights movements that educate themselves, get curious, and support, you know, actually support however they can. If there's opportunities, you know, to support the restoration of these homes now, to join networks and get involved. So.
Did you want to add something to that? Okay. Last question is, this is very important. We know that you are currently working on the film, so then how can we get in contact with Blue Magnolia or keep up to date for when the film comes out, or maybe see some of your other work?
The best thing is to follow us on social media. We have a Facebook page, and so like our Facebook page, and also go to our website, and you can always email us directly through our website if you want more information or want to be added to our newsletter.
What's the website?
BlueMagnoliaFilms.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter as well.
I lied. I have one more question for you. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you, or that you'd like to add to this interview?
Complete. What do you
Okay. No, I'm great. That was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Thank you for being curious, and I hope that people will research more into the Freedom Houses and support more of the work that's happening in Mississippi at a grassroots level.
Thank you.